welcome to this week's WiPnChat. Sorry, just checking my borders on photos and they were looking a bit weird. Alright, grab your tea. I think it's proper first hot tea of the day. Everything else I think has gone cold on me today. This is a colour block piece, so I need, what do I need? Actually, I've got some long lines. I'm going to go for a rather big head. So this is potentially going to be a shorter WiPnChat. This is a 10. If you have used these skinny heads before, the number is actually on this flat on one of the sides, which is really handy if you can't, you know, imagine how long a drill head is. Sorry, I am just renewing the blue tack, making sure it's sticky on both sides. This is all the kind of maintenance thing you kind of need to do before you start doing your painting that you might not see, because, you know, why would we film this boring stuff? But yeah, there you go. Excuse the noise. Alright, we ready? I have lots and lots to share, and I'm probably going to miss heaps. Right at the beginning though, I will have inserted a whole load of photos through this. So there's photos of our waterfall trip that we did on the weekend, and then there are some odd photos scattered through, so you've got it all. And then we've got the DP-a-thon to talk about, and oh my god, brain spinning. Breathe. Okay. So yeah, first off, yesterday I went out for an appointment, came home and found this on my décolletage. That would be a photo inserted in here. Yeah, I don't know how long it had been there, and I had gone to an appointment, and then I went and stood in the pharmacy, and hubby never mentioned that I had a bright yellow drill stuck on my chest just behind my necklace. Yes, gave me a bit of a giggle when I was in the bathroom before I took it off. I took a picture, which you will just have seen. Yeah, tell me in the comments, where is the funniest place you have found a drill? I know there have been threads in many groups asking the exact same question. It's not, look, it's not the first drill that I've had stick on me and me find. I have, so let me try and recall the moments where I've had drills. I think I've had one in my sock. Now, I don't know how it got inside my sock, but I found it after going to work, I think, one day. And then I was walking and went, what the heck is in my shoe? So as I do, I took my boot off. And then I took my sock off and I turned it inside out, you know, flap it around, get rid of any of the bits that were in it. And then felt my foot, and there was a drill firmly ensconced on the sole of my foot. I mean, come on, really? Hadn't felt it walking to work or whatever it was, but felt it when I was in the office, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I have also felt one, or had one, on my hip, that I have found in the middle of the night on my hip, thinking, you know, oh, I've got bugs or something, you know, not bugs, but I've got something on my skin, like crumbs. No, I don't have bed bugs. Probably do have bed bugs. Everyone's got bed bugs. Alright, moving on. Moving on. Anyway, felt this lump, but it wasn't sore, and it, again, was firmly attached to the skin. And it was a drill. Now, I don't drill. I'm keeping this clean. My mind just completely went into the gutter there. I don't do any diamond paintings in bed. I'm glad my husband's keeping quiet.
I need to see where this is going.
No. Anyway, I found this diamond drill on my hip in bed, and I have never done any diamond painting in bed. I don't think.
Oh, you were talking about drilling in bed.
Yes.
Right.
No, now he catches up and brings back the, yeah, the innuendo. Anyway, moving on.
I thought it was going to get better.
Oh, God. Yes.
This is where popping drills. No. Yes, I think I got that.
Thanks, hon. Oh, God. No, I'm gonna need another. No, I'm gonna need another bunch in the middle.
I'll get that kind of air conditioning.
Yeah, you go play with the air conditioning. That would be a good decision. He got one of these little cubes that if you orientate it and do different actions to it, it does different things. So he got all excited because he was able to turn on the stereo from mute and then turn the sound up or down depending on which way you twisted it. But now he's playing with the air conditioning. Probably just trying to make it nice because it is currently... My temperature is not on my phone. Hold, please. It is... It's currently 28 degrees outside. That's a little bit hot. It's blue sky. I think it's wall-to-wall blue sky. I haven't actually gone outside except to feed the pets this morning. So, yeah. It's
very comfortable.
In the 90s.
8
24.8 degrees inside. I'm actually too hot. But that's okay because the air actually blows directly onto hubby as opposed to across to over me, which I'm over to the side where the window is. That's fine. I have found drills, back to the drill subject. I have found drills down Sophie's nappy, one changing her one day. That was an interesting find.
And you can't tell whether she's put them in there or whether they've gone straight through it.
No, it was on her belly and on the nappy. It hadn't gone through the... No, it hadn't gone through the digestive system, thankfully. I wasn't checking for that, but no, it was on her belly. Yeah. Let's go for 4 next. Yeah, she has been, let's say, interesting. I don't know if I'm going to remember all her stories. I really need to either make notes or do little videos at the time. That's hopefully what my vlogs will help me do. She was playing behind me on the weekend. Sorry, behind you, over the computer screen behind, right? And she was kicking one of my Diamond Art Club boxes that I had emptied. She had been lying down in this thing because it's nearly bigger than her. And then just kicking the flap, and I was hearing this noise. So what I did was sneaked the phone around the computer screen and took pictures of her, which will be inserted right about here, as I'm now starting to do. She was the cutest thing. I was actually hoping she was going to fall asleep in there, but no, she was just sucking her fingers. She actually sucks her fingers, her two front fingers, index and middle finger. She turns them upside down and sucks them. And then she's able to hold Flopsy, and Flopsy is like nose to nose with her. It's quite a funny position. My other kids, I think the eldest boy, I think he sucked his thumb, but not for very long. My middle boy was given a soother, dummy, pacifier, whatever you want to call them. That got thrown away when he was about 2. My youngest boy, I think sucked his 2 middle fingers, yeah, I think he was 2 middle fingers. And then my daughter sucked 2 of her other fingers, I think, or her thumb. And then Sophie is the 2 fingers upside down. I don't know where she's got this from at all. I used to suck my left thumb, and it's kind of filling out now. It used to be skinnier. For years and years, it was skinnier than my right thumb. Kind of cracked me up. And I remember being told by the dentist or someone who was a bastard of a man, scared the bejesus out of me, Dr. Keenan. like, phobia kind of scared me. Probably because he had to do so many fillings when I was a kid. Horrible man. Anyway, told me I'd have to stop sucking my thumb or it would put my teeth out. Now I have got one kicked tooth, but I didn't end up getting braces. Either down to, oh, that's not a K, that's a Z. Either down to my dad not thinking it was overly important. Honestly, from my point of view, it's one tooth that's out of alignment. So no, probably wasn't anything urgent. Whereas my 2 younger boys, their teeth were horrendous, requiring braces. And then my oldest, I don't know, he hit himself or something, and his front tooth, one of his front teeth got kicked out, and it was going out further and further and further, like a buck tooth. It was really weird. But then the dentist said that he thinks the root of that tooth is dead, so we don't really want to have that one touched. Yeah, dramas of teeth. But no, didn't have to get braces, and yeah, the 2 younger boys got braces. So it's not down to whether or not you have a soother. Simon actually had genetic abnormalities in his jaw. Congenital defects, they call it. With the small lower jaw, which affected his bite and just complete overcrowding. He had teeth taken out and the braces put in, and that was the story that we ended up with him having major open heart surgery, because the small lower jaw is a congenital defect that is linked with the heart, etc., etc. Anyway, they were for other whip and chats. Sorry, I'm trying to rotate a square drill. They get a little bit stubborn on the double-sided adhesive. Yeah, so she was kicking the box and having fun with that. And then she was sliding Flopsy down the box. Most people got to meet Flopsy at the DP-a-thon that last weekend. I'll talk about that later. So she was sliding him down. She's getting quite imaginative in her play these days. It's really kind of cool being able to eavesdrop on some of the conversation. Actually, I was recording this morning and she starts screaming her head off. She was playing with one of the cars with what are they, LPSs or some annoying little creatures that were in the house, and she had put it, let's just say, under the dashboard of the car, and she couldn't get her hand and the toy out. It was like those Chinese puzzles where you've actually got to release your hand to be able to get it out of the jar. If you've got something in your hand, you can't get it out. One of those. So yeah, that was, once I realized what she had done and that she wasn't letting go of the toy, her hand was out in a second. But she was having a bit of a panic. Yeah. Where am I going to go next? I might get these dark ones out of the way, actually. And that'll let me concentrate more on the storytelling that we're going to have soon. I got some new toys in the mail over the last few days. Got one of them recorded today, so I got to see my lace and lathe work pen that I ordered. It's a Bethlehem olive wood blank. I put the order in with Daniel, I don't know how many, I don't know, probably 2-3 months ago. And I had seen it on somebody else's picture in the group, Lace and Lathe Works, and saw this picture, saw that it was Bethlehem olive, and I just went, oh my goodness, like literally, oh my god, I need to get me some Holy Land olive wood because of all the sentimentality and everything else that's there. and I put the order through, and he was awesome, as he always is, and opened that and did the video today, so I've actually got to see it. I'll show it to you, sneak peek, because it's going up probably next week now. Next week. This is Bethlehem olive wood. It is wood that's trimmed when they do the pruning process from the olive trees over in Bethlehem, and then they sell the twigs, branches or whatever to woodworkers, and I've gone and put the tips in, and I show what I did actually in my pen video. It is gorgeous. I may even give it a whirl soon, because this is actually quite a fat pen, this version, and I don't like using the fat pens overly long. I'm looking for the arrow. There we go. Two of those. I think I need two. So yeah, and then my mail is actually overtaking my husband's mail. That's always a good feeling. He has so much mail coming in from AliExpress. They're always tiny, tiny parcels. They're usually tiny, tiny computer chips. He actually got a massive parcel the other day, like this big. But if you're watching, look, look, look. It was about that big, right? He got into the parcel and there was a layer of wrapping. And then he got into the next bit of the parcel and there was another layer of wrapping. This was a past the parcel jobby. Seriously. Well, he got into the final product, and I swear it was the size of the tip of my nail. No, it was even smaller. It was even smaller. It was tiny.
Do you want me to pull it out?
If you can.
I've just put the other lot in with it. But...
You'll have to explain what it is to me again.
You want the product code?
No, I don't want the product code. I just want the short name.
It's an IC that measures power.
It's a computer chip?
No, not a computer chip.
It's not a resistor.
Not a computer chip.
Okay.
8 legs.
Okay, it's an 8-legged computer beetle.
No, it's not a computer.
No, shush. Let me explain in my stupid words. Okay. It's... What is it doing? Yeah, that is zoomed. Okay, it's an 8-legged computer chip.
There are 5 of those in there.
There's 4.
Oh, I've taken one out.
Right.
Yes.
There were 5 in this little package. Okay? And if you ever looked at a computer board, you'll see these little bugs. And they're in all the movies that do anything to do with spy theory and all that kind of crap. Anyway.
That's it, yes, I'm making spider wires.
That's it. These things are tiny. Now, what's even tinier are some of the resistors that he plays with. It's ridiculous. So he gets these monstrous packages for these tiny little computer chips. Because like I said, he is a tech guru. He is my computer person. He speaks multiple computer languages. And... But he doesn't speak multiple languages. He speaks multiple... Okay, he's fluent in many computer languages, and he gets really annoyed when stupid 16-year-olds act like they know more, and then he goes, "Listen here, child, get back in your box." And he says 2 words, and they all go, "Okay." And they all just shut up, apparently. I don't know. I just say, "Hey, Marcus, can you help me fix this?"
And he says no.
And he goes, "No, you're going to do it yourself." And I'm going, "Oh, God." Or he tries to teach me. That's interesting, because he has no patience for my bad explanations. He says I can't troubleshoot for peanuts. So all of you people who think that I'm really good at helping with the tech, thank you. I feel so tech unsavvy when I'm near him. Yes, it's it's a fun time when I have a computer issue and I have to go, hubby, can you help me? And it could be as stupid as the comments that I frequently get from funny people who go, "Have you turned it off and turned it back on again?" Sometimes it's as simple as that, and it actually funny because he had a phone call today and he had no sound. No, he could hear, but he couldn't speak. No, he couldn't hear. No, he had no sound, he had no speech. And he couldn't fix it. He hung up on his friend, and then he tried ringing me so he could troubleshoot. Didn't work. He ended up having to restart the phone. Yeah, a restart fixed it. You know, tech. Stupid thing. He had reflashed his phone on the weekend, which I had mentioned when I was talking about the waterfall chat. So, Sorry? Enough about you. Right, okay. We can put him in his box and he's back at his coffee table making weird and wonderful chippy things. Oh, he's playing with the soldering iron. He got a new soldering iron that you pick up like... Okay, you've got the thingy in the stand there and it's sitting at 150 degrees or whatever it does as a soldering iron. You pick it up and you go like this, and then you go like this, and it's already up to temperature. And it's like, yeah, he got so excited when it came in the mail. It's really funny, the things that he gets geeky over. Why is it funny? 'Cause it's kind of cute. And, you know, sad, sort of. No. He can do weird and wonderful things with things that people disregard. He found a new... It's not a new piece of tech, but it's a new piece of tech for him, where he can float the chips off computer boards by heating them, and then he floats it off and he can dismantle them. So now he's going through all his old boards and taking all the chips off, and yeah, he's like mad scientist. Yes, to any normal person, he's a mad scientist. Now, DP-a-thon, I know I mentioned with Tia, look, go and watch the DP-a-thon. End of story. Go and watch the DP-a-thon. The playlist is in my playlists. Thankful DP-a-thon. Just go look. It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to refer to it in so many times. So, end of story. Just go there. When I did my video, I wasn't showing my face because I was using StreamYard. And when I started, I hadn't done StreamYard in so long and had a bit of a goof. So I ended up having a reverb echo, sorry, looking for a drill color. Where are you? Don't you hate it when one goes missing? There it is. So I ended up with this echo reverb, which I've trimmed, so if you're watching my playlist now, you're not going to actually hear the glitches that I had in the beginning. I love YouTube technology when you can trim bits out. But I didn't show my face. I actually went to show my face once and yeah, got the massive reverb because I'd left my speakers on and something else on, and it was all like, oh my god, panic, shut everything off kind of thing, just so that you guys could listen, and that. So I didn't end up having me as my profile like I have this setup, because this setup is from a program called OBS. OBS is a very, I suppose, brains heavy computer program, and you know how we talk about lag on lives in general, although people who normally do lives kind of get over that. When you're new to a live, you kind of realize how much the lag is there, and you keep commenting on it. Generic you.
You how to use OBS?
No, hubby hasn't shown me how to use OBS or anything else. Anyway, he's just kind of said, here, use this and fly, and I've tried. So the lag on OBS is ridiculous. It's like 5 minutes, it feels like, whereas the lag on StreamYard seems to be very quick. And what StreamYard will do will allow you to link other people into your chat, or link other screens, cameras, all of that kind of jazz. So it allows you to be a little bit funky with your own gear. And so yeah, the sound was going all kinds of funky. I tried sharing my photos of the weekend walk that we had gone on because it was amazing, and you guys now get to hear about it and see it, because I'll be actually doing it post-editing rather than internally. So what I'm going to do though is get rid of my view of the camera for a second, because I'm going to go through the photos that I've taken over the last week. to refresh my memory more than anything. So many photos. Oh God, yes. And husband also updated his music library, and in the process of, we share photo albums on Google, and in the process of doing his album cover importing, whatever it does to give you an album cover, there's like bazillion pages of album covers now in my diary.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just that when I was looking for it, it was ridiculous. Now, unfortunately, I can't show the animations. When you take a burst of photographs on Google, you get the option to then animate those photos. Google actually does it itself for us. So Google has these animations of Sophie kicking the box. It's hilarious looking through these. I think there's 2 of those. Anyway, I'm not going to play with those right now. What did I do? I eventually got the boobs done on my stitching. Since the last video, that was a thing on the Not a Mermaid stitch along. I will put a progress photo in when I'm editing later, rather than dragging my bag out across the couch, because the keyboard is in the way, and we'll try and leave Sophie sleep as long as she can on the couch. She's actually on the couch under the blanket. Yeah, the kid. She's inventive. Let's just say that. Okay. Okay, I'm supposed to be finishing work soon. Yeah, I'm still off work. I'm off work this week and next week. Now, the deal with that is we went up to the waterfalls, which I'll get to later, but the dose that the GP put me on may be the better dose in the mornings. I don't think it's quite the sweet spot that we like. It's certainly not the sweet spot from the point of view of me being able to work, but it's the sweet spot for me to be able to be moving around a bit more comfortably after 9. I actually start work at 8 at the moment, so I may need to play with the doses a little bit more and be a bit more brutal on what I'm doing, rather than sitting on my backside at home in the mornings. So have completely changed the rest of the dosage, so like doubled everything and removed a nighttime. I don't trust people ringing me anymore. If it's somebody that I know, they can leave a message. Yeah, he's terrible. In my job, you answer the phone. But at this time of day, it's not a work number, it's a mobile number. And the scammers are getting clever and they're starting to route their calls through what looks like a mobile number. So I don't know if it's a person or not. So as I said, if it's important, they will have left a message and I will get back to them. And if they leave a message, I will pause, deal with that, and then come back to it because it could be urgent.
So, like I say, put an image on every phone number in your phone book. All you got to do is look at the image. You don't look for a number. True.
Either way, it's not a contact. It's just come up as a number. So it's not somebody I actually have in my phone. Yeah. Anywho. So, yeah, meds. We've got a new thing. So, what I've done today is spaced out the meds that he wanted me on. So gabapentin, if you want to know the name, if you're into these things. He's told me to take double the meds 3 times a day. So I'm taking 600 basically, morning, afternoon, night. And the morning dose I take kind of like half an hour before I physically need to be out of bed. So if it's 6:30 in the morning when I wake, I'll take it then, knowing that I'm not going to have to get up and start moving until about 7:30, 8 if I'm lucky. When I'm working, that's going to be the painful time, and I've got to either manage it or have a higher dose first thing in the morning. That's where my head is at with playing with meds. I've played with meds from the point of view of my antidepressants back in 2011, 2012. I had a really, really good GP back then.
You make it sound like recreational drug use.
Yes, it does sound like recreational drug use. But I know how the timing of the dosage is so important to well-being, I suppose, that kind of thing. So from that point of view, I will actually suggest to the GP, okay, I'm more sore in the morning and less sore in the evening. Can I take the bigger dose in the morning and have a lesser dose? That kind of playing. So Marcus is the same. He's on tramadol, and we have him on 100s during the day and then the bigger dose at night, so that he can try and get some sleep. He's terrible at sleeping. Not always from the pain, but just bad habits, I think. Anyway, so that's my kind of game plan in my own, you know, little head, is that we play with those levels this week. So I've changed my time from first thing in the morning. Instead of 12, it's now 2:30. Instead of 5, it's now 7:30, and no other meds at any other time. I had been taking meds at 6, half 6, 7, again at 12, again at 5, and then at night time. So yeah, that's where we're going, or that's where I'm going with that. And I realized I've missed 3. So I've taken off this week and next week while we play with those meds. I know it's going to take me a few days to get used to the meds, so I'm not in a rush to get back to work. I'm very, very lucky in my job that we have what's called a sick leave pool, where we all donate a sick leave day, I think it is, into the bank, and we can then use it as a organization should we need it, because we're sick. So we don't just get we actually get 6 weeks off a year as well. We get some really, really good benefits in my job. And there are many times where I would have been, well, there's 2 times really, when I had the major depression and now. Oh, and I suppose when I was off with Sophie with my back, with her too. So I want to be right before I go back, because when I go back, it's coming up to Christmas, and it's going to be, you know, all hell breaking loose. Hang on just a second. I will put the Octonauts on for where her nibs is and occupy her.
Look at that smile. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, look at that smile.
And I'll turn it. This is one of the things. What did you just say to her? Look at you, smiling girl, or something?
Look at the smile on this thing.
Look at this. Yeah, anyway, look at the smile, and she goes, no, I'm Sophie, I'm Sophie. This is the kind of stuff I need to be kind of capturing, because I think I said to her, I said, oh, look, it's such and such. And she goes, no, I'm Sophie, I'm Sophie. And, you know, it was using an adjective to describe her. And so she's got this awareness right now that's all kinds of cool. But the grumpy's not quite so cool, so she's, yeah, she's grumpy. She may actually end up falling back asleep again for half an hour. Yeah, it depends on the day how much of a sleep she has, but she's still needing them. She was in with me last night. We make pasta on a Monday night. Hubby makes the pasta, as in the strings, and I then put it together. So I chopped the veggies and stuff, and she was driving me bonkers yesterday. She was just like, she was high needs, and I was like, back off, bitch, you know. It was, because yeah, I was being high needs, she was being high needs, and together it was just like, get away from me. Anyway, so I'm kind of, you know, Marcus was in the kitchen making the pasta, and of course she was in with me doing whatever, because it was the end of the DP-a-thon. And then as soon as I get up to go into the kitchen, she's like, okay, I'm with you. And I was like, oh, I just wanted a break. Anyway, so she's all over me in the kitchen. Anyway, we had a bit of fun. In the end, I was chopping up the veggies, putting them into a bowl for her. And we are counting together and all of that kind of stuff in the kitchen. Doing the colours, everything. It was school for Sophie, as she was getting fed the raw veggies. So she got, you know, pieces of capsicum. Why am I putting that quite there? I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, she was getting all the raw veggies put into her bowl that she then got to enjoy when she didn't like the cooked portion of the food. So yeah, it wasn't as bad. She's all kinds of helpful. She's all kinds of, you know, something drops on the floor, she'll get off the high stool, run around the kitchen, go and do it, go and pick it up, put it in the bin for you, and all of this kind of thing, and, you know, generally feeling useful and being useful. So, she's okay. It's only when she's chattering and she's repeating the words that it's kind of like, okay, it's grating now. Shh. And she doesn't do the shush bit. Yeah, that's a little bit kind of, I just need a brain break. And it's funny because I get into the car at the end of a work day and husband will jabber with her all day, you know, but he doesn't have the adult contact. And then when I get in the car, he starts talking all tech and geeky, and I'm kind of going, my brain doesn't have the space for all this. Just shh, be quiet. But I kind of let him talk because I remember what it was like being home alone with the kids, and you just want to talk to an adult. You know, so it's, yeah.
It's good that you just human.
Yeah. Yeah, so if stuff goes in and you kind of go, but I told you all about this. It was...
No, the techie stuff, he's not going to understand it anyway, so that's not really...
Oh, fine. Okay, so he's just, yeah, talking to an adult or something. Yeah. We only have a 2-hour window, really, in our day where we talk really important stuff. Because we have rules and boundaries that we're pretty good at sticking to, actually. So... the first hour after I get home from work, it's pretty much like garbage talk. And then from maybe 5 till 7 is when we can do them. Maybe, okay, look, we have this we need to actually discuss. Can we talk this out, please? Because we have an embargo on the final hour before bed for any serious talk. This particularly was prevalent when the exes were being very problematic, and I didn't want to be going to bed thinking about his ex, and I didn't want to go to bed thinking about my ex. So it was like, okay, we're not talking about the exes or anything contentious in the final hour before bed. Marcus has always been quite strict about any contentious issues in the bedroom as well, which is a new thing for me, because that arguments continued when they went to the bedroom with my previous relationship.
They've been advised when they got married, you never argue in the bedroom.
Yeah, and I get that. It's good advice. I think my dad might have said it as... No, my dad's advice to me when I got married was never go to bed on an argument. Yeah, that didn't happen. And my ex and I would end up fighting and not talking to each other for a couple of days until, you know, 2 days later he'd look at me or I'd look at him, and you couldn't help the stupid grin. And yeah, that it was really not good how we communicated. But how Marcus and I have communicated has been really good, very refreshing from that point of view. Yeah. We still have our stoushes, don't get me wrong. We still have our arguments. We're both loud and vocal. He tries to shout louder than me.
Tries?
He can shout louder than me. He has to have the final word. Oh my God.
I let you have it.
And then he'll go... It was funny because he pissed his sister off big time by saying, okay, you can have the final word. And she ended up losing her shit completely. Yeah. But, Yeah, so it's kind of like a running joke. Oh yeah, you know, whatever you have to say, dear. You kind of thing at the end, and it's kind of like, yeah, fine, you're such a prick. Trying to get used to how each of us actually argues. That's interesting.
Especially when I'm always right.
Well, it's not just that. It's the making up with each other after you've had the argument. It's very, very different from him to my ex. And Marcus is the kind of man who will kind of go, well, if you're going to be the child, go and stomp off in a huff and say, fine, I'll fucking walk home then, kind of thing. And you're 50 kilometers from home. He'll drive. And that would be it. You'd be left. He's that kind of person. He's, you know, it's kind of like, if you're going to make stupid threats with me, you're going to, well, bloody cop the consequence. So, you've got to choose where you...
Oh, you can't make...
You can't make things... You can't make judgments or you can't make comments that you can't carry through with him. He'll call you on it, which is fair enough. But the making up afterwards has been different as well. It's more a talked through adult process than a give me a hug and a kiss. I mean, yes, we still have the... You know, we still have a hug or whatever, but it's not quite so kiss and make up kind of thing. It's not an ignore the problem and let's just shag kind of thing. Yeah, it's look, we've got an issue and we need to have this out. Proper adult conversation.
Which is funny coming from me.
He says it's funny coming from him. It's funny coming from me. Look, I tell you what, remarriage has certainly been a journey. I was 23 years to the date with my ex. Well, married to the date, and then had an extra couple of years with him. But, yeah, and then Marcus had only been with his previous tenant, as we call her, about 2 years. Sorry, not 2 years, 10 years. Only. So, she wasn't a communicator. And the communication was all kinds of poor on their end as well. But so very different histories between us from that point of view. But we both had histories. Yes, he's interesting. He will be all kinds of... Don't do this when you're this. Don't do that when you're that. And yet I find he does some things.
Like what?
Oh, it could be... one of them is don't move too fast when you're grumpy, kind of thing. Like, yeah, I'm not saying it's not good advice. I'm just saying it's a bit kind of pot kettle black kind of thing on occasion. Yeah. You know, he'll berate me about saying something with the kids. And then I'll kind of go, and you have just gone and done it yourself. Or it can be interesting and letting it kind of go... Okay, I have an issue with what was just said and not actually responding to it. No, sorry, not reacting to it, but responding to it later when I've had a chance to process it myself. It is a big thing for me. A new thing? No, it's not really. Well, I suppose, yeah, it's a new thing because I'd learned bad habits. I think that's the issue. I'd learned bad habits and got away with... Marcus actually thinks I have teenage temper tantrums because he thinks he's so mature, but I have seen him.
That's so professed 10-and-a-half-year-old.
Yeah, the 10-and-a-half-year-old will have temper tantrums like you would not believe, and he does not always take his own medicine unless it comes to metho. What? Yeah, Murdoch's. I've put the playlist on. Sit down. If you want them, you have to sit down. Nah. Yeah. Dear. Nah. No idea. Yeah, so there you go. There's a bit of our communication skills. It's really different. It's really it has been refreshing, to be honest. And it's proper conversation too. I find, sort of. He doesn't read books. He can't keep a book in his head from start to finish. My ex wasn't a big reader, but he used to be able to keep shipping knowledge in his head, like you would not believe. And then oh yes, Marcus will tell me he can't remember shit. And the amount of stuff he's kind of like, we're watching a movie and it's like, oh, it's him from such and such. And I'm kind of going, and yeah. He pulls these people and he pulls memories out of his ass and he goes, no, I've got a memory problem. I'm kind of thinking, nah. Yeah, maybe it's the short-term memory. Okay. I don't know. It's becoming a running joke.
Compared to what I had before.
I think he underestimates how good his memory actually is.
If there's been any change in your life, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. You had a level of whatever type of memory you had before, and then all of a sudden, it's different. And you go looking for something where you've put it in your mind, and it's not there.
Yeah, Marcus's filing cabinets got shuffled around sometime. He woke up the other morning and he goes, I was having a dream about something and Dad was there and there were two people there, and I said, where are these two people from school? And I said, yeah, and they were high school teachers. It wasn't a high school dream, it was just the people from high school. And I said, well, your brain's just gone back to whatever that situation was. I find it quite fascinating, to be honest, where my brain goes for a start in dreams, because it would base me in my childhood home, I think, as a foundation to whatever else it was dealing with. So I would dream an awful lot of my childhood home, and then there would be other things inserted into it, and it was kind of like, that's just my brain kind of going, I can deal with it in this situation here, so let's deal with it here where I'm safe and happy. And then you can have all the weird stuff happening around there. So I used to have some really odd dreams. But for, you know, I was out of the home 20, 30 years and I'm still dreaming about my childhood home. I haven't dreamt about it since I moved in with him. Very weird. Yeah. Very, very weird. Anyway, okay, look, last weekend we had a DP-a-thon. We had 2 days for the US, Saturday and Sunday. From morning to nighttime, of 1.5 hour lives with a plethora of creators around the world. Fee kicked it off, Diamond in the Rough. Go check out her channel and then you can follow on from there, or just download the playlist, save the playlist from my playlist, and it will continue playing from one through to the other, There's like, I don't know, 30 odd hours of back-to-back whipping chats, effectively. We were all sharing about being thankful, and Crystal, one of our creators, Crystal Krellin, came up with the idea of wanting to thank one of our moderators that is in most people's lives, and I'm just keeping an eye on my OBS and making sure it's still running. She's in most of our lives, and we can be chatting about something. So I might say, for instance, Octonauts, and 2 seconds later the link will be there. This is Odd But Nice. You all know her. She obviously isn't called Odd But Nice in her real life. She retains her privacy on that, and didn't want to go on to Crystal's live, but in the chat beforehand we had all been talking, and Crystal's kind of going, look, I'd really like to do something for Odd, as we call her, Oddie. What can we do? And Ashley goes, we can do a PayPal pool and we can all give to the one thing, so that, you know, we can, if anyone who wants to can give, and give to this gift. So we open this pool up, people start throwing money in, and somebody else says, look, whatever is raised, I'll double it. And we're all kind of going, okay, crap. In amongst the chat, because Odd has just become a TSA affiliate. She doesn't have a YouTube channel or anything else. She's a TSA affiliate, though. She wanted to build up her stock for TSA paintings. Ooh, wrong number. So what we've ended up doing is raising this money, and it will go to a TSA voucher for her. We raised, by the end of Sunday, or today even, $377, and that's going to be doubled. 754 by my math, when I tried working it out. Yeah, my little brain had to work. I was tempted to ask Google, but I decided to give my brain some exercise. So she is getting a massive gift certificate. And then we heard that a friend of Crashly, I could be wrong on this. I think she's a good friend of Crashly. She's known her for years, Angie. Angie was sharing that her daughter was shot, who is in her 20s. She opened the door the other day to something and was shot something like 5 times. So we will probably look at also doing a similar PayPal fund for that. Now, if you don't already know, and this is where knowing your peeps, you know, counts. If you don't already know, Tia of Tia Smith, what is Tia's channel? Tia's something? Oh, blimey. I just know her as Tia. Tia's Crazy Craft Addiction. Tia is the most awesome chick over in the States. She started off her channel with her son Justin, that all of the girls ogled over. Might be a little bit embarrassing for Mum to have these women drooling over her son. He's in his very early 20s. And he's sitting there and he's all mature and he's all, you know, hunky-like, but he's still a baby. Because when you look at him after a little bit, you kind of think, oh, no, 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 you still really are such a baby. And I'm kind of going to, all these women kind of thinking, I'm going to start growling at you if you keep on ogling over this young man. Because it's not right. He's a baby. Oh, dear. Anyway, he, I think he's moved out, so he's not at home and on the videos quite so often. But Tia is awesome. She's such a lover of all people and all crafts and all things, and she's just an awesome, awesome chick. She lives in Las Vegas, which is just around the corner from Melissa B, who also lives in Las Vegas, and they got to meet, you know, creators getting to meet each other. They got to meet recently, and it was all kinds of cool. It was very much, you know, hey, the sisters kind of getting together. It was really, really cool. Melissa, actually, if you want to give some thought to her, Melissa and all her family, it seems, have all tested positive for COVID. What the fuck? Drea has also tested positive for COVID, along with other health issues that she's dealing with. Please give some love on these creators. I don't know if you can see my subscriptions. I have public subscriptions, I think. I thought I did. If you can see my subscriptions, you can see these people that I subscribe to and I'm talking about. And, you know, go follow them and hit them up. There's just so many people that I can't always catch up with everyone and know intimately what's going on. But these are a little bit of what I know is what's going on. Crystal, when she was doing her live last night, oh my god, she was really pulling at the heartstrings, and she was talking about her dad and all of the little things that he used to do for them as kids, and he's made these things that she had to go and clean out the storage area that he had a whole lot of stuff in, and, you know, heartbreaking going through family memories. I've done this. I'll talk about that maybe in a bit. She's going through the storage facility with all his memories and stuff, and it's all Christmassy stuff. She didn't want to face Christmas, but what he was doing was he was making these memories that were of him and his wife and his 2 daughters, and you could see how much love he was putting into these crafts. It was awesome, and I hope that it does make Christmas that little bit easier, even if Dad's not around. I'm just, again, keeping an eye on computer and making sure it's still doing its thing. So yeah, please go check out these. People have told me that Rivka's live was really cool. I haven't had a chance to catch up. I think I probably have watched or been in about half of the lives. The problem being that the DP-a-thon actually started at midnight 1 AM my time. So I missed the early morning slots because I was sleeping. But I did wake up in time to see Tia. And kind of cut it from there and then got into my live and that. I did not know what I was going to talk about in my live. Didn't have anything planned. Didn't have any games. I've had games before. And I'm kind of thinking, what am I going to do? And you know what? I just talked. And by the end of the live, an hour and a half, I'm going, oh my God, I still had so much more to talk about. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I think hubby dragging me out of the house to do these waterfall trips and everything else gives me, I think, so much more to talk about too. And because I'm not doing my secret squirrel work, I don't feel like I have to avoid talking about my secret squirrel work. You know, it's kind of like the elephant in the room kind of thing. So yeah. I am an Avenger, actually, Ashley. 007.1, my husband said. I'm a DMC Avenger. Oh dear. Alright. Waterfall photos. Let's get going. Alright, so Saturday morning, the plan was not hitting a waterfall. We hit the caves.
This is where...
You need to speak up, yes. This is my husband.
This is where loving husband says, how about we go to Mole Creek and see some glowworms?
Okay. Started off with Mole Creek and glowworms. Okay. So, Tasmania is here, right? This is the top corner. We live down here. And to get to Mole Creek up here, you have to go up here and turn left. Yep. Any other trip we had done, we'd gone up the middle and turned right and come back down that side. Okay. So, are you with me slightly geographically? Let's get rid of that pen and let's give the new one a workout. If I can get these pens back in. Anyway. Oh dear. I have already loaded it because I swapped the tips. Alright, let's, oh gosh, it feels so good. Tanya's done such a nice job on the varnish on that. That's gorgeous. That's so nice. Alright, so his wacky idea, let's go to Mole Creek. I couldn't recall going to Mole Creek. I may have done. I know I've gone to Hastings Cave and Glenda has mentioned this. There's more knocks. Go ask. Go tell Daddy I'm busy.
A poo? Oh, yummy! My turn.
Yeah. So I kind of go, yeah. What, you know, I don't mind wherever it is, so long as it's a slow walk or a small walk, I'll be okay. So we didn't really plan this. Actually, the initial plan was we would get up and leave around about 9 AM. Well, I think it was about 11 by the time he finished with his music update. And we actually got on the road. We needed to call into the chemist on the way to get my scripts. And then we hit. And he is loving driving our new hybrid. Absolutely loving driving the hybrid. It's comfortable. It's got the heated seats. I'm sitting there and I knit on the way up. So I'm doing my Paisley Pearl knitting, which is... I'm looking at one bag. I'm not seeing the other bag. The child maybe has moved it. I'll find it. Anyway. I'm loving doing the Paisley Pearl, but what I ended up doing was having to rip back. Anyway, that's another story. So I'm... Actually, I'll talk about that now. I got to the lace section, and the instructions were slip, slip, knit, knit one, yarn over, do that twice, and then continue the rest of the repeat. And I'm going, what the fuck? Looked it up on YouTube and went, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Tried it. No, this isn't looking right. So I'd got one whole row and one half, I think, done. Went, that's not looking right. Asked the girls and said, can I see a piece of your lace work? Got a couple of photos and I went, yeah, that's definitely not looking right. Okay. So I go back onto YouTube, I have a look at it again, and I go, no, I'm completely wrong. Okay, I'm going to rip this back. Well, I didn't just rip back that row, because then the row just before that was like a little wall that had fence palings on it. So it was like 2 stitches a hole, 2 stitches a hole, that kind of thing around it. It was beautiful. Love this layer that she's got. Decided I was going to rip it all back out, and I ripped back then the next texture, which is actually color 3, which is actually from part 2, which is the texture that has like a cable kind of knit that goes sideways. So you've got the band, another band, different band, all in a diagonal around the cowl. And I had fluffed it up somewhere along the way. I'm now learning to read my stitches much better, and it's making much more sense. So I ripped back all the way to back that distance. I'm trying to push drills in and there's no... Oh yes, because I got it out of a brand new pen. That was stupid. Yes, you need wax in your pens, girls, boys, children, people. Oh. Yes, putting fresh wax into a brand new tip. It was a clear pen that I had handy that I grabbed to insert into a pen. So it is a virgin tip. So virgin tips you need to stuff. So I'm stuffing with the blue tack, and then I rip it down the side and put it on again and rip it down the side, and then I put a blob here because that's my top up if I need it. It's a handy place to put my top up. So we'll squish that back in. You've got to fill this little, what's inside one of these little brass tips, as a complete segue, is a little cone. It's like a funnel, and you're filling the funnel to overflowing. But behind the funnel, typically, because the funnel is a funnel and it's got a hole, is how you end up with... let me find... Oh god, none of my pens have done it. Where's an old pen? That's kind of pooling. There's one. I don't know if you can see. Do you see in the white in this bit? There's a little worm. Well, there's a hole in the tube in that funnel. Oh, she's turned pens upside down on me. Anyway, there's a hole in that funnel that will let the wax through. People freak out about that. Don't freak out about the worm. The worm is the worm, and it's not going to do anything to cause any issue. It just goes into this cavity here in the pen. You can clean it out if you like. Yeah, so we go on the drive. We stop at a bakery in Ross again because it's a awesome bakery. They didn't have my mocha donut kind of profiterole eclair affair, which is a choux pastry donut, which is, I couldn't think of the name when I was talking about it in my live. It's a choux pastry ring, cut open like a donut. Well, no, it's cut open across the middle like a roll, and cream is put into that, and chocolate icing over coffee, chocolate over a coffee icing is then put on the top. So it's like dunked in like I would dunk profiteroles, basically. So yes, absolutely delicious. They didn't have them. Devastated me. So I had an apple pie and gave Sophie an apple pie. She peeled off all the icing off the top and then kind of discarded the pastry, which was so thick. Nice pastry, a bit like Mr. Kipling kind of stuff, Cal, over in the UK, or anyone else, my UK listeners. A bit like a Mr. Kipling iced apple pie. Really, really yummy. But nice little treat. Didn't want to overdo it, but I was, you know, getting hungry by the time we got up to the top. Anyway, get to our destination. There are some beautiful views because now it's a new bit of road. There are these fancy flyovers around a town that used to be, you know, like a one-horse town with the servo that you stop in for petrol and then keep going, called Perth. That's all being changed now, and you do all these flyovers and bypasses and stuff. So we follow this road and then we miss the turn off that we needed, so we've got to continue, and the thingy is doing the recalculating, the bitch in the dash. I call her Eileen, so I can say, come on, Eileen. Anyway, the dash navigation system-y thingamajiggy recalculates where we're going and sends us around a few of these turnpikes. It was amazing. Beautiful roads. They've got all the money up the northwest coast. It's ridiculous because all the pollies live up there and all the tourists come in there first when they come off the boat. So anyway, back to the thing. We get to the cave site, the ticket office, and the woman at the ticket office, dressed in her khakis like the rangers do here, asks us, have we pre-booked? And it was like, no, didn't realize we could or should. And she goes, yeah, you could have and should have. And she goes, well, your next tour is 3 o'clock. So we had an hour and a bit to get to the start of the tour. And she goes, well, there's a 20-minute walk from here to there. Otherwise, at the other side, there's more walks. So we walk down to this fern glade. Now, I'll start the photos round about here. And I'll go to the photos so I can see what I'm talking about. So, we walk down this zigzag track through these tree ferns. They call man ferns. These things are huge. And Marcus goes, go on down there, take a picture to show how big these babies are. I'm 5'2", 1.59 meters tall. 5'2", thereabouts. That's another story. These things are even tall next to Marcus. Because at the first tree fern, I'm kind of going, holy cow, you look tiny next to this beastie. And we were up on a path as it was. And I was like, oh, I should take a picture with you. Anyway, so we took a photo of me and Sophie in these man ferns. Welcome to our trip. Sorry? Sophie and I. Yes, sorry. Oh my, didn't even, yes. I'm a grammar Nazi. And my husband, he speaks proper like too. No, I said I'm a grammar Nazi, and my husband speaks proper like too. Usually. He was brought up right. Yeah. Dear.
I was what?
I said you were brought up right. Brought up right? Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Broughton. Yeah. I'm getting a cold sore. That's annoying. Yeah, this shit on my chin, that was from, I don't know what it was from, but it went awful nasty and it was sore for days, and now it's crusty and horrible. It's a bit, yeah. Anywho, so yes, we're walking down through this tree fern glade, and then we cross this little river, which is like just a little babbling brook with tree ferns, you know, just hanging around. And we cross over the road to this glade where we discover now is a freaking picnic area. Okay, now let me explain. In Australia, or in Tasmania, they do an awful lot of outdoor barbecues. They're electric barbecues that members of the public... No, are they electric or are they gas?
No, they're electric. No, there used to be some gas ones back in the day, but I think they're all pretty much electric now.
Okay, so we've got these electric barbecues, right? They're big squares. So they'd be like an A3 size kind of light pad squared as your cooking area, and then you've got your borders and all that kind of jazz, right? These things are cleaned by staff daily in most of the parks. They have... She's not dealing. They clean the barbecues in the morning, and you have the picnic bench nearby. You can book some of the shelters that they have these at as well in some of the parks, some of the popular parks, so you can have your parties and things like that at them as well. I'm going to have to talk faster because I'm running out of time, because I've only got 2 colours left. Let's do this one. So we cross this little babbling brook to this gorgeous little area that has an electric barbecue, and it's got a picnic bench, and then it's got these, you know, tree plants dotted around the place. Sorry, tree ferns. Tree plants. Anyway, the tree ferns all around, you know, the edge and into the trees, and they kind of disappear into the wildlife. And this gives hubby some wacky ideas, which may or may not come to pass. More about that possibly later. So we kind of checked this out, and I'm kind of going, yeah, you know what, I'm really sore now. And all I had done was literally stand at the ticket booth, walked around the shop, pointed out all of the native animals to Sophie, because it was, you know, there was stuffed quolls, stuffed Tassie devils, platypus, harrier.
Not real ones.
Yes, real ones. They were taxidermied.
Oh, yes, but not for sale. Yes.
No, not for sale. No, exhibits. So there was a spotted quoll, an eastern spotted quoll. Anyway, lots and lots of animals. It was amazing to be able to... Okay, I shouldn't have touched, but I touched. To touch these coats. There was an echidna. You know, that you could get up close and personal to these creatures. So I had her up in my arms showing her these things, and then showed her the cave spider that was on one of the exhibits, and then there was a cocoon papyrus, not a pupa for the eggs next to it, which is this white cotton silk, you know, ball-ish hanging from a thread that the cave spiders would, you know, be part of. Well, it was funny because they had clothing for sale as well, actually really good quality clothing, and one of them was this fluffy as bejesus. You would look like a sheep in this thing. Anyway, it's a really fluffy, soft, incredibly soft hoodie kind of top that you could also purchase, and I remarked on it because it actually looked like the tree spider cocoon. But I will lay bets that when we bring up Marcus's daughter there, she's going to go, oh, can I have? And I'm going to tell her that it's from a spider, and she'll probably go, because she hates spiders. Yeah, she's a weird kid.
It's too white.
Yeah, it's kind of like white on the top but black underneath. It's really strange fabric.
She's too messy as a child to...
Either way, we're not... Marcus is so mean, he doesn't buy anyone treats when we're out. It's like, if I have to kind of plead, beg and whine if I want a coffee or anything. No, it's not true. I'm joking. Anyway. Yeah, he buys high ticket items but won't buy me a coffee. Anyway.
Let's go to the shop and see what's here. Oh, look, dishwasher.
Yeah, I know.
Dishwasher, won't you?
Yeah, I know. He brought me to buy a dishwasher at the end of a work day one day, and it was, you know, one of those kind of, I'm tired, I couldn't give a shit, and he kind of goes, I've brought you to the Harvey Norman store to buy a dishwasher, and I'm thinking, oh god, now I have to be polite to this sales agent. Yeah. And I'm kind of thinking, I don't care, just give me a dishwasher. But we actually got one I was really happy with. It was really cool. We've got this drawer on the top that slides out just for cutlery. It's really cool. Saves bending down. The only other thing I would have wished to be any better or different would be a drawer dishwasher. I used one when we were staying up at Simon's when he was having his heart surgery. That was kind of cool. Not all brilliant, but it did have some good points.
Let's just say that we went $600 over budget.
Yeah, we went over budget. Marcus had been saving for this without telling me he had been saving for this, and it was like all kinds of sneaky. So yeah, he's a really good husband.
Oh,
Anyway,
shucks.
yeah, I know. We drive from the fern glade rather than walk up to the cave entrance. We drive.
All the coffees you go without.
Yes, I know.
In order to get there.
Yeah. We drive from the fern glade, and I'll insert some photos that are just the drive through. This is the kind of region. I didn't get some of the grass. I'll get this the next time we're up there. They actually have these karst limestone rocks sticking up out of the grass in a few places. It's really, really weird. Very Irish because it's karst. But there are these mountains that have the... Sorry, itchy nose. Have these, you know, strong profiles and everything else. So I take these pictures of this gorgeous, you know, grass for miles, beautiful, majestic mountains in the background. And we get to the King Solomon's Cave parking area, not the entrance, the parking area. I do not know how far the cave is from the parking area, but we were pottering around. We looked at a picnic site that was there as well. 2 barbecues in this hut, massive amount of tables. You could have crowds of people here during the summer, and you know, pre-book your tour to be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You bring your lunch up, make your lunch, go and have your cave tour, and you know, Bob's your uncle. You can head home. So they've got this set up, and we start walking down to where we think the tour is at, you know, 3 o'clock to the tour head. We didn't see any other people around or anything. And I look at the sign, and the King Solomon's Caves, their tours are on the half hour. And our tour was 3 o'clock, and I'm going, something's wrong here. So Marcus ends up berating me, getting all upset with me, because I wasn't in there when he actually paid for the ticket because I was too sore. And there was only one option anyway, so it's not his fault at all. He just didn't remember which tour we were on. So he pulls out the ticket and he goes, it's the Mariputa or Mariputa? Something or other.
Abbreviated on the ticket.
Yeah. It was abbreviated on the ticket, and the ticket chick had been talking about Cathedral Tour. The name Cathedral wasn't on either of the names of the tours, which threw me off, I think, more than anything. And we go, oh crap, we're in the wrong place. So, where did I take this photo? I think this broom would have been back at the Mariputa site. I think where we were pottering around. So, this yellow broom is actually from the King Solomon's site, and then the bracken was also at King Solomon's site because it was just outside the shed. There was these beautiful fern fronds all curled up. They're gorgeous. And then when we walked in and we realized we were in the wrong place, I took these 2 pictures of a tree fern that had all these other orchids and stuff growing off it as we're legging it out, because we now had over a 10-minute drive to get back to the original cave site to have our actual tour that we had paid $20 for together to go and do. So hubby's fanging it down the road. I'm not talking.
Legally.
Yeah, legally, but he's flying down the road. And I'm not saying anything to him, just letting him concentrate on his driving. And we get to the cave site, and we park the car, and we sit there with our jackets on, waiting for our tour guide to come out. There's people around, and I'm kind of feeling, okay, I think we're at the right place. I hope to God we're at the right place. I'm still not sure we're at the right place. God. So then we see this. Now, this is the entrance. I don't know. They should do a much prettier entrance. This kind of carry on with the barriers is ugly as all hell. Hubby actually recorded birdsong while we were just hanging around. And if I've got a copy of that. He might have to share it with me because I'm not seeing it. I'll play it for you round about here. This is just the bird song that happened to be out and about.
Yeah, combination of
river and birds and whatever. I haven't listened to it, so hopefully it's okay. So
very boring.
Oh, he says it's very boring.
And
anyway,
and lovely in every way.
Yeah. So we get into the cave. There's like a 50-meter walkway that you walk along. It's all cement path, concrete path for those who don't do cement. Concrete path through the whole cave system. And I'm kind of going, oh yeah, my back is really not coming good at all. We'll just see how I go. So our tour guide is Dave. And he is...
Oh, he's not our tour guide, he's the tour guide.
Well, he's the tour guide, yeah. I don't know that they've got many. They've got 17 years doing these tours, so they know what they're talking about. He's, you know, knows the cave systems and all that kind of thing, and has been through other ones that wouldn't be open to the public. He tells us that we're going to be going in, we're going to be turning lights off. There's going to be some bits that are quite shallow in headspace. Sorry, my drills are being stupid now and not coming off. You know, warning us that heads might get taken off, because we were anticipating, really, if Sophie was going to cause any trouble from a walking point of view, that Marcus would have her on his shoulders. She was a rocket on this path. She actually led the people a few times up the steps. She was really, really awesome. It was an hour tour all up. And when you went into the cave on the horizontal, it then quite gradually rose, and then it was steps up to the cathedral, which you went in this way and then you went back up on yourself into the cathedral space, as they call it. It was absolutely magnificent. There were falling, rolling kind of, it looked like congealed mud. And I'm going to be talking probably out of sequence. I'll try and do my best, but, you know, it is what it is. And I'll be trying to put in the best photos, because both Marcus and I were taking photos, and it's now just mishmashed into Google Photos. So there's one here that's this falling mud, and it's just this crystals that looks like a lava flow that has just been stalled in time. It was just amazing. There's another one that I don't know if it's called a birthday cake in this one or not. I don't think he gave us names of what some of these were called. Some of the stalactites and mites and all that kind of carry on get named. There's more kind of crock and bush kind of affairs, tall ones here. And then there were these shoals, and well, I'll get to the shoals in a minute. There's the tights and mites. Now, mites crawl up and tights fall down. Does that?
Mites and tights.
Mites and tights. Stalagmites and stalactites, right? Mites crawl up. They're the ones that go up from the bottom, and tights fall down. They're the ones that come down from the ceiling. That's how I remember which goes up and which goes down. So we've got a couple of different sections of these. I mean, they're all over the place, but
Tights hold tight to the ceiling, and might.
I see his is terrible. Anyway, I tried to get as many really epic shots for you and for me as much as anything. But there was there's a few that were just amazing. Some of the minerals, I tried to get shots of these. The minerals were just shining through the rock, and Dave is kind of saying, don't touch the rock. You know, if people touch it, we have so many visitors and blah blah, we'll ruin it, and you know, as would happen. So yeah, we didn't touch any of these rocks, except shoulders might have brushed on some of the narrow paths. There was only a couple of places where Marcus had to lean over and may have hurt himself in the process. The shoals though, and I'm going to go back to my sister, who was the dress designer here. My sister was a dress designer for as long as I've known her. And I don't mean that lightly as a dress designer. She used to make wardrobes for paying private customers. And then she made my wedding dress, and she ended up then going into study and university as a mature student, doing arts and fartsy stuff, and has never really lost this creative bug. She then went into felting, and she had an exhibition, I don't know where it was in Ireland, reasonably close to home because she was able to go to it every day. But within that, she did cave-inspired felting. Now, she's felted an elephant, she's felted an Aladdin's teapot. Her felting is like nothing you've seen. There were shoals in the caverns, and they reminded me of her work, but they are just incredible. The shoals were made from the movement of the water in this similar way to the stalagmites and stalactites, but it flowed or something a bit differently. Dave was saying how they've timed some of the drips on some of the mites and tights. Some of them are permanent, some of them change by drip speed by 20 seconds in summer to winter. That kind of, you know, geekdom. There was this, and the phallic symbols right throughout the whole thing. This thing here was just out behind the fence. But anyway, each of the levels we got to, I was having to sit against these railings, which I don't think I've got any... Oh, I might have a blurry picture of it. But there was a railing that was built in. It was a steel railing that was actually sturdy enough for me to be able to sit on the bottom railing, which is about my knee height. So what I would do would actually sit with my butt on the knee-high railing and then put my shoulders kind of into the thigh-high railing when I was standing. So I would rest in between all these stops. Well, the first stop we did was for the glowworms. And bless his cotton socks, Dave made no allowances for Sophie. Because when the lights went out first, she freaked out. Sorry. Debris. She freaked out. She was going, my eyes, because it was pitch black. And she was going, my eyes, and clinging on to me, and I'm getting her to calm down, and she's crying, and I can see this one single pinprick of glow-in-the-dark drill on the top of the cave roof. And that was it. That was all I could see. And I couldn't see anything else. And I'm going, Sophie, look up, look up. And eventually, I think she adjusted and she could see the glowworm as well. And as soon as she found that her eyes were still working, she stopped. And it only took maybe a minute and a half. But Dave kept talking. He was so patient. He was really, really good. Didn't make allowances and go, oh my God, this child's freaking out. Flick the lights back on. Didn't. He just kept talking, doing the rest of his tour for the other people. Sophie calmed down. And yeah, it was all fine. And she was, as I said, she was storming through and up the stairs and up the steps and everything else for the rest of the trip. So on the way back down, he had explained that he would turn the lights off again. And when we came back down the second time, we would see the difference in how many of the glowworms we could see. So the next time the lights went out, there was a marked difference. There were hundreds of glow-in-the-dark drills on the ceiling. It was amazing. So yeah, we went, as I said, up for about half an hour. He actually sang, well, he didn't sing, he made noises at the top. At the top of the cathedral, he was explaining how the acoustics in there are just so incredible for singers. And if anyone wanted to sing, they could. It was dark, nobody would know who they were, blah, blah. Anyway, he got no volunteers. So he starts this, what? And it was just like, oh my God. The sound was just incredible. Marcus actually recorded him. And I will put that in. Well, yeah, I don't know if it's any good. His permission, but anyway. Well, we've no pictures of him. We don't know who he is. Anyway, it sounded amazing. Really, really cool. And he turned the lights off for there as well. And Sophie was, I think she was at our feet. So she was kind of running around a little bit. and I had hold of her hoodie, but she was okay. But there was no fence there for me to lean on. I'm kind of thinking, I'm dying. But getting back down the steps, I was in a world of pain. Couldn't get comfortable in the car really on the way home, and Marcus decided, let's look at the navigation thing. Let's see, there was 2 routes that we had a choice between. There was back down the way we came, or back down through what's called Great Lakes, which is kind of the middle road of the right hand side of Tasmania. So you've got a road that goes down the far side, you've got the main road that goes down the middle, and then the rest of the state is over here, and then you've got one that kind of comes down here, which is the Great Lakes. That's pretty much it. That's your choice. There's not a lot of roads in Tasmania, other than the mains.
No, that's not true.
It's not. And the southwest, this bottom corner down here, you've got to fly in. Okay? So, we get back on the road. I'm just trying to see if there's any more photos. There are some photos of us leaving the cave. And there is, there's one photo here I'll put in of, this is actually a sculpture that's made at the path entrance. And in it you will actually see, I think it's fern fossils. It's a particular kind of fern leaf from memory that you can see in there. It looks like fish scales, to be honest. And then there's some photos of the road trip. Wait for that one. Okay, let me just check that recording is still going okay. Yep, we're all good. Right, so we decide to go down the Great Lakes Road, and we have his mum's mobile phone with us because, again, he's the tech guru, and he was fixing it for her to make it so that it was pretty simple for somebody who's had a stroke. And we kind of thought, you know what, we get really annoyed when they drive past us and don't call in, because they come down to the city a couple of times. They live an hour away. And we have seen them drive up the road without calling into us, because we can spy on them.
The granny tracker.
We have a granny tracker. He's a Targa dude. Dad is a Targa dude, so he has all these high-techy stuff in his car saying where he is at any particular point in time. So Marcus can track him as well. You can actually track lots of people on the APRS if you know what their call signs are. So we debate this. We kind of work out that it's going to be 7:30 getting home. What are we going to do about food? Saturday nights are usually a pizza night. I don't expect him to make pizza after, and by making pizza I mean making the dough and then I put it together. It's a bit of a process. I don't expect him to make dough when we get home at 7:30 to eat pizza at like 10 o'clock at night. So it was like, what are we going to do for food? And I was like, well, let's ring the parents and see. You know, 6 o'clock at this stage, ringing the parents, saying, hey, we're coming through. Can we drop in? Do you want to join us for food in the pub? So they say, yeah, sure, see you in whatever time. And we've got these views as we're going through the Great Western Tiers to our right now. So we've got a mountain range to our right heading south. There's a little lay-by on the road after Marcus does some crazy twists and turns, like he's driving in the Italy rally. But there's this little drive kind of lay-by, and it's kind of like, oh no, stop. So he drives a bit further and there's another lay-by. So he spins the car around, drives back to the first lay-by, and we get out and have a look and go, oh yeah, that's really pretty. And I take a couple of pictures. And then we get to the next one and it actually says, look out 200 meters ahead, which is where we first swung around. Didn't see anything. So there's this little rabbit track. I'm going to play you this video and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so welcome back. Really weird doing that. You've seen the little walk. This thing is, you know, adult human width. It was freezing cold at the end of the day as well. You walk out, freezing, yeah, relative to the day. It's probably 17 degrees. It was 10 degrees, I think. 7 in the car? Sorry. Anyway, walk out, saw this magnificent view. And then I take a panorama where I go 360. I'll have had that played as well. Okay, because it was amazing. And it's too late now to apologise for the bad language that I used when I came up, because it was literally like, fuck. It was a vista. Have you ever done something like the Grand Canyon where you walk out not knowing what's anywhere because you haven't seen the view, and suddenly this vista opens up before you? Well, you'll know what I mean. It's breathtaking. And because it was still sunny on this breathtaking view, it was even more incredible, because the sun was setting behind the Great Western Tier and was becoming quite cold in the shade. So this was incredible. And then from there, so the couple of shots that I have are of the Great Western Tier. Marcus did some panorama snipping, but there's some plants that were there. I don't know what these are. The little yellow ones and the lichen on the rock. And then it was back to the car. And there's the panorama then that he took. And I think that I've been told this is a scenic lookout. And this is the little path that may or may not take me to my death. Ooh, there's a step. I'm sorry I don't have a Steadicam. Are you ready? I mean, are you really, really ready? Up the steps. Okay, close your eyes. Okay. Fuck. Okay. Look. So, we are in the Great Western Tiers, and this is the lookout. Sorry, I'm puffing because my leg is triggering and it's freaking sore. Now hang on, sun's gone behind the tiers, so I'm going to try and focus as we go. Here's the sun, sets in the west, and that rock, how gorgeous is that? Here we go, a bit more focus. Alright, 360. Wow, this is definitely God's country. Just gonna do panorama in landscape. Sorry, moving fast, very sore. Get the cliffs. Oh, sorry, don't want it to go dark. There we go. Come on, focus camera. Back to the valley. Alright. That's probably it. Oh yes, back to some of the activities that Sophie used to get up to. I had 2 letters here for 2 Pippa packages, which is the Vegemite and Australian tea challenge that I had been sending out to people. Well, I hadn't sent them out because the mail system is saying that we're going to charge you tracking fees, so it's like $20 to post a letter these days. Thanks, Tretucken. So I hadn't posted these, so I'd put 2 letters with Vegemite, a tea bag, a raspberry chew lolly, and 2 chocolate freckles. This kid has an uncanny knack of knowing that food is in a particular parcel. Although in saying that, she hasn't figured out that I have a Rachel package which arrived this morning. Oh, and by the way, I'll put a picture of her cute blue eyes in just because she's, you know, the epitome of being angelic. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, so she's quiet in the morning, and I come out. No, she comes back to me in the bedroom and starts talking to me, and I see all this black smear on her face and stuff. I go, oh God, what's she been into? I hadn't seen anything because I had given her, I think, a fruit pouch, but hadn't seen any general mess. When I came out to check on her, like I came around the corner and I'm just looking at her and she goes, morning, Mummy. And I was just like, hi, Sophie. She was all kinds of gorgeous. I mean, you wouldn't believe that she had been into my mail. So, mail to be sent, not my mail. Mail to be sent. So, Marcus comes back to me and says, have you seen what she has been into? She has been into your mail. I'll send you the pictures of the evidence. So she's ripped these 2 envelopes open and then got into one of the Vegemite. And I think this was, I don't know if she got into the Vegemite before or after the rest of the lollies, because the rest of the lollies were just gone. They had, you know, been demolished, but the Vegemite had been smeared all over Brian's card. And she had it all over her face, and I think she had tested it, and I think she had found it slightly wanting. Because it was straight out of the packet. Like Lydia took it straight out of the packet. You don't do this. Anyway. I made her Vegemite and honey toast for her breakfast as a consequence to her having this opened container. The little rip. Yes, but that was the story with the Vegemite and my little angelic child with the gorgeous blue eyes. Yeah, she's a funny kid. So this morning I ended up leaving a pouch out for her, hoping that she wouldn't get into the stuff that she shouldn't have been getting into by the time we got out to her. Because normally she'll come, she'll put the iPad on, she'll watch whatever she's got in her ABC iView, and that. But she's hungry in the morning, so God bless her socks. She goes and feeds herself with whatever she can, like my Irish chocolate, which she did the previous week, much to my disgust, because now I have found I can't get Irish chocolate in the stores. So I'm all kinds of tearful. And my dad hasn't put any in the mail because Ireland's been in lockdown. So I've no Irish chocolate. So I've actually finally made a shipment from my shipper who imported to Sydney. I made an order today. They fixed the shipping to Tasmania. Costs a stupid fortune, but anyway, it's flour and stuff. So I'm gonna have homemade brown bread mix and Irish chocolate for the next year, because I tend to only ever have chocolate cravings once a month. Go figure, girls. Yeah, the rest of the time I can kind of leave it. If it's hidden, I don't really bother, but round about the time of my period, it's kind of like, give me chocolate, I'm going to kill someone if I don't get it. My husband probably doesn't realise that quite so much. Doesn't realise how much I crave my chocolate around the time of my period.
What period?
What do you mean, what period? It's not like I'm pregnant.
No, I don't notice any difference.
Oh, he's being a sly bollocks right now. He says he doesn't notice any difference in my behaviour. Like hell. He actually has me calendarized.
I haven't recalibrated that for years.
And kind of has a warning that my period is due in the next week. I said, no, you've got it set to the wrong time. You need to set it a few days before then, because there's one day in particular in my cycle that I know I get like batshit crazy.
Why I do that?
It says a warning not to pick arguments on the wrong day.
No, it's
to let things lie and to to be a bit more understanding, or as what he has done lately is said, your period is due, chill a bit more. because he's sick of the... Oh, seriously. I had Sophie. Like, I'm 48. There's no kind of, you know, hiding age here or anything else. I'm 48. I'm getting hot flashes occasionally. Actually, been getting them for years, but getting hot flashes. Know that menopause is around the corner somewhere. Haven't been able to give her a sibling, which is alright. She's fine. But I am very conscious that I'm dealing with menopause and that women can get the batshit crazy menopause. And I do quite continually apologise to him for how bad my behaviour may get if I get PMS. I have. Nowhere near enough. He hasn't had enough beer or sex. That's going to be his complaint. I'm not even going into frequency or anything else there. Shh. Alright. Yes. Oh dear Lord. What am I... Something on my finger. I thought a piece of wax came off. There it is. Yeah, it's a piece of plastic. Right. Ah. And nose. And I'm nearly finished. Alright. So, yeah. Husband has come up with some cockamamie schemes that we need to kind of nut out a bit more as to what's going to happen with the channel. And vlogging and promotion and everything else. I probably haven't gone into any detail really. The coffee cup in my logo over... I'm going slower to try and get my camera to catch up. In there, in the logo, is a coffee cup. The coffee cup is new. If you would like to support me, at the moment, you can just buy me a coffee and there's no tie-in or anything else. At whatever value you want. You could buy me a coffee. I would love to have a coffee. I should probably do a full promotional video on this and talk a bit more. Because there's so many coffee stories that I need to say. And I don't mean the coffee, I mean coffee. Caffeine coffee. There's coffee stories behind why you can buy me a coffee. But if you would like to buy me a coffee, you can, and you can do so safely. And as time goes on, there may be a shop attached. A stock is rolling in as I speak. I'm getting so excited about the stock coming in because some of it I thought was going to take forever, but it hasn't. It's actually coming in quicker than China Post thought it would, which is good because it's kind of like Yaboo sucks to you. Except what will probably come in on the slow boat from China is going to be the magnets, making the cover minders. So, coffee has the ability to have a coffee shop attached to it. I've got to check it out a bit more, but yes, there may be some produce going into the coffee shop. If that doesn't work as a sales point, then what I will use in all likelihood will be Etsy. So, yes, there will be stock. We will have 3D printing. We will have cover minders. I have got a full-time job, so I don't know where I'm going to pull these creations out of my butthole. We'll see how we go. Sophie's hand. Where's Flopsy? Oh. He's on the couch. Okay. Leave him. It's okay. Are you going to get Flopsy to say goodbye? So yes. There he is. It's Wednesday today. Crashly, I think, is going to talk about it again this week, and about Angie and supporting Angie's daughter with a fund. What we want to be able to do is... okay, hang on, Sophie. Is either fund her to... Sorry. Is to either give her diamond paintings to help with the healing process, or give her money towards other things that she may be able to use for her healing. Tia, being a gunshot wound survivor, is also going to be able to give some help as to what might benefit from that, from maybe wound healing or other pamper kind of stuff that we can give Angie's daughter. So stay tuned on that. That will be on Crashly's site. You can put your hand, it's not sticky. You can have the stone, and you can have the hippo. She plays with my cover minders all the dang time. She sits on my lap. No, that's enough. That's enough. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. I'm going to have to do another video. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, so please stay tuned. I am 15 subscribers away from 1,000. Shh. There was a major push during the DP-a-thon to get me up to 1,000. So I was 950, I think, before the DP-a-thon. I'm now 985. It was like, oh my god, thank you so much. Yes, I will be doing 1,000 people giveaway. Oh yes, with the 1,000 people giveaway, there is a form you must fill out. If I do not have your form information, which is 100% confidential, if I do not have your form information, you will not ever get a Pippa package. Okay? If you would like a Pippa package, it could be in a giveaway or it could be as a random, sure, you know, let's do something nice kind of thing. I'm gonna give the gift out from Tasmania. Then I need your details, please. So fill in those details and that will send you off to the Google form. You can answer some questions and I will know who you are and where you live and know how to find you. I need to do something better with the birthdays. I have requested... Sophie, can you please shh while I'm concentrating? I have asked for birthdays and I have also asked for birth dates. So you can either fill in the day, month, or you can fill in the whole actual birthday. So I might know if you're going to be 40, 50 or 30 or 20 or whatever the heck it is this year. But again, all of that information is 100% confidential. As I say, the only thing that will be happening is the Men in Black and surprise packages. I think that might be it. I think I'm done for now. Vlogs will be coming up. I did mention it at the end of the live. No, can you take her, please? Let me wrap this up. Sorry, she was getting too noisy. No. Oh, now you got Flopsy. She's got Flopsy. She's good. So, coming up, I am expecting to get what's called a sassy pouch from my cross-stitch company, cross-stitch store that's down the road. When that comes, if you've seen it before, it's the bright purple package with the Tassie Devil. I might put a picture in here. When that comes, it normally comes like little wrapped packages. This package theme is frog. I don't know what that means, but the frog is the theme, so hopefully it'll be a bit fun. My plan with that is to use it as a daily vlog. So your vlogs will be separate to my regular videos. The vlog is to get me used to using piece-to cameras. I'm not very good at looking at the camera in the eye. My eyes wander, and when I talk to people, I actually read their mouths because I had hearing loss when I was a kid. So I lip read, so I might be looking at the camera and I'm actually reading my own lips while I'm talking. It's weird. So hence me trying to sometimes move the camera position down so I'm nearly looking at the camera. But so my piece-to cameras are not always brilliant, so I want to work on that with my vlogs. I apologize in advance because this cold sore, it's not a cold sore, it's, I don't know, some other kind of sore on my chin, is unsightly and I hate looking at it. So yeah, it's not going to be healed up fully by the time that comes. I'm doing my best to get it healed. So with the vlogs, my intention is that you get to see some of my world in a bit of a more finer detail. Let me just turn that down one more step. So you get to see my world in finer detail. I might be out on the deck. It might be a sunny evening when I'm back at work or after work. It might be a sunny evening and you're looking at me and the backdrop is the view that I usually get to look at. That kind of thing. It might be the mountain. You know, it's going to be a bit more of me life. Frazzled. I'm still in my work gear and I'm doing a quick piece to camera. The aim of doing that practicing with the presents and the daily chit chat, God knows how long each of these things are going to be, to be honest as well. The aim of that is so that I can do a daily vlog in December. And whether or not I then continue, I don't know. It might be a case of doing more vlogs. And the vlogs will be in a separate kind of category to the normal videos. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I may not have enough to talk about. But then on some days you're going to just get verbal diarrhea. We'll just wait and see, and smell the roses and the coffee and all the, you know, smelly stuff. Yeah, that's the bottom. Oh, how many sections have I got? This is Julie's gift from the mystery diamond painting. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1.5 hour, 2 hour sessions. Blimey. Okay, it might be done by Christmas. I love this painting. I love working on it every moment. It's really, really cool. So yeah, I will get ready, take my picture, and take my picture and then roll it up and put it away. And then I'll concentrate on my knitting and my stitching for the rest of the week. I got to get this video edited and uploaded so that you have it on Wednesday as soon as you can. It's already Tuesday. It's a much later whip and chat because of the DP-a-thon than I would normally have done. Yeah. I think I've talked enough. I've got to go and do the washing up, then get dinner ready. Defrosting in the oven. Yeah, time. Your video might go up late. I think that's just what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do right now is pack up, get the washing up done so that the sink is then clear so that the meat can defrost. I will then process the video, and that takes an age. My poor little computer brain. It takes an age, and then I will upload it, and it will release when it releases. It might be after midnight. Normally I release on midnight my time, so it's early morning I think for the US. It'll release when it releases, so yeah, you'll see it then. Alright, thank you for joining me. Please take care. Things are going to be getting busy as we come up to Christmas. The Christmas premieres will be happening. I need to get my head around those. I will probably deal with them on Thursday. I've got 2 appointments tomorrow that's going to have me out of the house most of the day, and I'm going to be exhausted by the end of it. So I'll see how that goes. Yeah. And it's hot. Stinking hot. It's 28 degrees today. I think it's 30 tomorrow. It's back down to 24 on Thursday. So it's going to be really hot, so we're going to be trying to stay in the house as much as possible. And I hear my husband filling the sink with meat because I've taken too damn long. And I knew it was going to take me to this time doing my recording. Anyway. Alright. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you around on the next video, whether it's a vlog or a whip and chat next week. I will see you around on the tubes. Bye for now. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.